WTIM.
You are listening to WTIM, your information station, and it's time now for the WTIM morning show. This morning, we're joined by our Taylorville Food Pantry. So happy to have him back in studio. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark in studio. We have both the co-coordinators with us, Pam Moses, Amy Hagan. How are we doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Awesome,
Doing good,
awesome.
Tim. Thank you. How are you?
Absolutely doing well. Thank you for being back, making time for us and getting out all the information we need. Talk to us about September, some numbers rolling through from the summer and this early half school year starting back up. Do we have some numbers we can give the people out there?
Well, August, we talked about last month. We didn't have the numbers in yet. We expected it to be a big month with returning to school and it was. We were 480 families strong in August, which is above our previous 2-year average, and of course that was expected as well, so we weren't shocked there. And September came back down a little bit, 389, just came under 400. It was a little quieter for September, but the interesting part is the individuals that are represented on each family. It was 1,116 in August, and it was still 1,087 for September. So even though it looked like we were down almost 100 families, we were down less than 100 total people.
Wow. Okay. And these are numbers that really give us a good idea. And we were learning, gives you a good indication of how a town is doing as a whole. That was a really interesting conversation we had last time. I know patrons of the Taylorville Food Pantry have been getting entered into a new system. How has that been going? Amy Hagan, I know you've been kind of heading up that.
Well, excuse me. As far as I can tell anyway, Tim, it's been going pretty good. I think the lift as far as from a volunteer standpoint, just learning the mechanics of a new system and stuff has been pretty easy. It seems like it's not been too burdensome to our neighbors coming in as far as the intake questions and what they need to know to be able to receive services and things like that. I'm always skeptical. I mean, Pam mentioned that number a moment ago, and this is with the new system. Mm-hmm. And so, I hope, I say with a little bit of trepidation that, these numbers are accurate based upon, well, they are accurate based upon the new system. But, there's always quirks, I guess, related to, converting to new software and things like that. And I know there's a little bit of a question in my mind because it talks about duplicated and unduplicated entries. And duplicated to me means that a neighbor has been there previously in the month. And we used to count, if for example, you came into the pantry, I came into the pantry, we'd both be counted as two separate households. If you came back next week, you would be counted again. Yeah. I would be counted again. Right. So that's how we've always counted in the past. I'm just a little bit, I guess, skeptical until these numbers really start to, I guess, get consistent with where we were on the old system as to whether or not the new system is actually counting in the right way. Yeah.
And so you can't quite take them at face value just yet. You're going to wait a little bit.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. And I mean, the system itself is great. It's easy to use. Everybody knows what they need to know coming in. It's not like you have to have a bunch of new documentation or paperwork or anything like that you need to be carrying with you. So from that standpoint, it's easy. But I'm just a little bit concerned on the back end as far as the dashboard goes, whether or not it's actually accurately counting the way that we used to count. So,
right, especially because the number of people really hasn't changed. The total number in the family count isn't going down. So is it 389 families, but 480 visits? Is it counting it slightly different? Because because a part of it, our perishable side, you can come whenever you need it. Whereas the commodity side, you can only get once a month. Sure. So is this the once a month 389s? And then we had another 100 people that came back. Because like I said, the total number of individuals pretty much didn't change. So like I said, we're still trying to figure that out. But the the big number that also continues to stand out is the 30 plus new people coming every month. I mean, if in June it was 28, in July it was 35, in August it was 35, in September it was 30. Each of those new families have never been in our system before. And that number's been pretty consistent now at this point at big numbers for almost a year.
Yeah. And that is a very telling number, one that's a little bit
That's a
easier.
scary
Okay,
number, in
it's
my opinion.
a scary number. Agreed with you right there. So when you're looking at these numbers, say for a family of 4 or 5, just as an average right there, if one representative from that family comes in and
Right.
they're looking to feed a family of 4 and 5, how long will they be stocked for by the Taylorville Food Pantry about?
That's a good question. We've asked different people, how long did this last? Sure. And, because some will get everything and some will only get part of it. We don't ever really get a good answer. But at the end of the day, we know that we're supplementing them. We're not taking care of them for a full month. I mean, what the pantry is doing is supposed to supplement them to get them through. However, they go out with a grocery cart full of groceries.
Absolutely. And of course, Taylorville Food Pantry just responding to these numbers. Of course, you can't do too much to deter people from coming in. But is there anything on that front? Education, speaking, shopping smart, those kind of things. You ever try to get into those type of things, or to remind that it is a supplemental type of?
I can talk a little bit to that, Tim, because just last month we revisited the partnership that we have with the SNAP educator from the University of Illinois Extension office here in town. And there's a new person in that role. And she reached out to me and she said, I'd like to come to the food pantry. How do we make that happen? And I said, our house is your house. Yeah. So whenever you want to come, be our guest. And I think what we've settled on with her is, like, in the month of September, she was there on a Tuesday morning. I know she's got plans to start coming maybe on a Thursday evening and stuff in order to hit the different demographics. But the whole point in their being there on premise is they offer recipe ideas. They sometimes actually have some really cool giveaways, whether it's, can openers or, I don't know, hot pads or something like that.
Cool.
But sometimes samples. Sometimes they come and get our stuff.
Yeah.
They make something from what we have at the pantry, and then they give it out and give the recipe
Great.
for that. So.
Yeah,
Great.
That's pretty cool. And they do have a fair amount of education. I mean, it's rare for too many months to go by that they don't have some kind of a flyer they're bringing along with them to promote an educational event it usually happens at the extension, of course, but it could be like, how to stretch your food dollar, or smart shopping, or soups for winter, or, whatever the topic du jour is. I don't set the plan of work for them, but it's a wonderful partnership that we have with them, and that they know, as SNAP educators, they're supposed to be boots on the ground, actually doing that type of networking and education with the constituency neighbors in our community. And they do a really great job by us.
It's really nice to know.
And we leave, if there's, lentils and people don't know how to do it, when you go buy the lentils, there'll be some recipes there to take with you, let alone the ones on the back. Sure. And some of our volunteers are great cooks. And if you happen to get one of those as your shoppers, they're telling you how to, what do you have at home? You only have a crock pot. You don't have a stove. Okay, this is how you can make this in a crock pot. I mean, this is how you can take, okay, there's one steak here. Well, don't look at that as a steak. Look at that as, roast or beef for your stew. All of a sudden you can make one steak, feed 4 or 5 people, because you take the can of corn, you cook it in the crock pot, you tear it apart, you add the can of corn, the can of green beans, the can of peas, some tomato sauce, everything that we have along that line. And next thing you know, you've got vegetable soup to feed the entire family instead of one steak to feed one person.
Yeah. And that's everything with this, knowing how to use the food that has been given to you there. These 3 to 4 ingredient recipes, they're easy. You mentioned crock pot, yeah, that'll feed you, that'll give you leftovers, and just learning how to stretch all the donations given out there. Before we take our break here, days and hours of operation where patrons head over to the food pantry.
So Tuesday mornings from 8:30 to 10, Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 7, and Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30.
Perfect. We have the co-coordinators from the Taylorville Food Pantry in studio, Pam Moses, Amy Hagan. Much more to talk about when we come back. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
This is Will Perkins with Taylorville Community Credit Union. Are you looking for a great CD rate? If you are, TCCU has a CD special that is just what you are looking for. We are currently offering a 7-month share certificate with an annual percentage yield of 4.51% and a minimum deposit of $1,000. The great rate is for a limited time. For more information, please contact us at any of our convenient locations in Taylorville, Pana, Hillsborough, Litchfield, or online at tccu.org. Dividends will be compounded monthly. A penalty for early withdrawal may be imposed. Fees could reduce earnings on the account member NCUA.
That feeling is in the air. It's getting cooler. The leaves are falling. It's fall. And that means bonfires, get-togethers, and farmer-owned Prairie Farms dairy products. Prairie Farms cottage cheese is a great salad or side dish. Dip your favorite vegetable into Prairie Farms' lineup of dips, including French onion and ranch, to make the taste pop. And Prairie Farms sour cream goes great on that baked potato you just took off the grill. Enjoy the fall season with these Prairie Farms dairy products in your grocery or convenience store dairy case.
Radio gets results.
Miller Media Group Advertising works for Taylorville Estates. Here's Administrator Tony Clark.
In the past year, we have doubled our census. So that's been impacted mainly by the radio advertising. That is where we do the majority of our advertising. And our census definitely shows that it works. They lead us in the right direction for the season changing, and they anticipate our upcoming needs before we even have to tell them what they are. We've had consistent growth over the past 12 months. Like I said, we've doubled in our census, and that's been the first time in 43 months since prior to COVID that we've gotten to where now we have a waiting list for people to come. So advertising on the radio really does have an impact.
It's a weekend full of chili and fun this weekend on the Taylorville Square. Hi, I'm Linda Allen, Executive Director of the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce, here to invite you to 2 days packed full of food and events at our annual Chili Fest this Saturday and Sunday. 2 days of International Chili Society judging, by Chili Fest Chili, hot or cold, entertainment on 2 stages on the square, our pageants and vendors, the Kids Zone, and so much more. Join us this Saturday and Sunday for 2 days of fun at this weekend's Taylorville Chamber Chili Fest on the Taylorville Square.
Jim Stepp, owner of Central Illinois Asphalt in Taylorville, helps protect your driveway or parking lot with recycled asphalt and environmentally friendly sealer. Let his 40 years of experience work for you at a reasonable price. Click his icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Small towns are in, and Taylorville is poised for you and your family to join them. Taylorville has what you're looking for. Find out more, including upcoming events, by clicking the Small Town Taylorville icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into our WTIM morning show, this time with the Taylorville Food Pantry. Both co-coordinators, Amy Hagan and Pam Moses, in studio with us. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. We're back connected to Facebook. We rejoice on that one, so you can all tune in live there. Getting back to our conversation here, the Kiwanis Drive-Thru Donation Day, their help to the Taylorville Food Pantry. I have a good time having them on air and seeing them working hard out front. What do those numbers look like this year?
Well, I'm just happy to be able to report to the community. The Kiwanis Food Drive this year produced a total poundage of 4,939 pounds.
Wow.
And so that's a dollar, or that's a pound equivalent to even dollars that are contributed. So basically what we do is for every dollar that's donated, we assume that it takes to purchase 1 pound of food 19 cents. So dividing that out, we ended up at almost 5,000 pounds of
Wow.
food
Amazing.
from a summer food drive that, Kiwanis is just so loyal to our organization and committed to the cause. And we cannot thank both the studio here serving as the host location, as well as all the Kiwanis members who make this a major initiative of theirs each year.
Absolutely. It's good to get the word out there. And I have a hard time wrapping my brain around that, the way you guys are able to stretch a $1 into 5 pounds of food. And that's just an average of, your canned goods, even your meats and your produce. I mean, they're really averaging all that out there, Amy or Pam?
Well, yeah, I mean, we base that off the Central Illinois Food
Sure,
Bank, which
yeah.
we obviously partner with, and anything that they get donated, we watch their list pretty closely, and when they have things, we rack it up and bring her in.
Wow.
So.
It's really, really awesome. So in our last couple of minutes here on this morning show, let's talk volunteers. People always welcome to help out at the food pantry in any different way, no matter your skill level, no matter your age. You can really help out. Talk to us how we can help and how that situation has been looking recently.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we talk about it every 3 or 4 months that we need volunteers. Just like any other non-for-profit, volunteers come, volunteers go. People have medical issues, whatever they might be. People move. They find something else. Their kids get busy, whatever it may be. But lately, we've been a little shorthanded. So once again, we want to rattle that cage. If you got the pickup to help, if you've got the hands to help, whatever you may have, maybe it's the computer skills for the front desk, but whatever it may be, we can plug you in, and we need help again. So we seem to be short. Maybe it's the weather change. I don't know, but we're on the call.
Sure. Everyone can have their chance to help in this, no matter your skill set there. Amy, anything to add on volunteers?
No, other than, this time of year, people are already thinking holidays.
Yes.
And I've had a couple of inquiries of people in the community wanting to know what they can contribute. I've told them, check our webpage. It's got a full list of what we try to have stocked at all times. I also add to that hygiene items, and I also add during the holidays, baking. Anything that you would use to bake is a hot seller. So whether it's sugar, flour, muffin mix, bread mix, all those kinds of things are very much, they fly off the shelves this time of year.
Yeah, mashed potatoes and instant, of course, as well as stuffing. We'll kind of set all that aside here for the next month and try to have it available for the holidays. So all those are, if you want them on your table, so does everybody else.
Absolutely. That's such a great thing to live by there. And so glad we could work in some holiday giving information as well. Amy, Pam, thank you so much for taking the time being here today.
Thanks.
Thank
Tim.
you, Tim.
Absolutely. With the Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan, Pam Moses, both co-coordinators. And you've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W2.